This is CopyWho. I'm your host, Paul, the producer. Hello, everyone. CopyWho Season 3. Welcome. I'm like a little shocked right now. I'm streaming to both Rumble and X, and I have 45 streamers that all of a sudden came on. That's astonishing to me. I can't even believe it. That's a good sign, though, I guess. I mean, I'm posting regularly, I'm streaming regularly, and this is not a superficial undertaking for me. Anyone interested in interacting today is welcome to comment, and I will try to put it up on the screen and comment to what people have to say. I have a lot I want to say about the Los Angeles fires. There's a lot to it. I'm not even quite positive where I want to begin, but I do have a list. So, I mean, I say that's not entirely true. I have a list of things I want to talk about. But the big event of the week is these astronomically gargantuan fires in Los Angeles, and it breaks my heart. It anguishes me greatly, and it also makes me feel very anxious about what is to come for the rest of the country, because California and New York, I've been saying for a while, they are conquered states and they're falling, and this is just I don't know where to begin with that. But I have a lot of things I'm going to talk about. Before I get to California and before I get to Los Angeles, I want to talk about my own week. I had a pretty cool, exciting week this past week. I'm still doing a very good job not smoking marijuana. And it's been over 2 months. It's been about, 67 days or something like that? It's been about 5 weeks. No, excuse me. What am I saying? 9 weeks. And I feel like I'm done with it. I had a very good week last week. It was in the plan for me to fast, to try fasting in this month, inspired by my church. I go to this church called Brave Church, and they're doing 21 days of fasting at the beginning of the new year. And so last month I was like, okay, I had it in my mind I wanted to do that. And so last month I did a 15-day round of ivermectin because I want to kill off all of the parasites roaming through my system. It sounds gross, but truly I wanted to kill off parasites in my system that might be there. And maybe 15 days isn't enough, but that's what I wanted to do. And I had it in mind this month that I was going to come and do some fasting. Multiple reasons why I wanted to do fasting. First and foremost is spiritual. Another is to see what kind of health benefits I might get from it, because the way the body reorients itself when you're fasting has some serious health benefits. The way the cells all of a sudden reorient their existence. I'm not a scientist. I don't know exactly what's going on, but that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to fast. And so last Sunday night, a week ago today, I went out. I had a dinner with a group of people. I had some delicious meatloaf. And then I went almost 48 hours without eating anything. And I thought that I was going to go longer than 48 hours. But alas, once I reached about 47 hours in, I was ravenous, obsessed with wanting to eat, very much so. Seriously, so wanting to eat that I could hardly think straight. After about 24 hours, I was watching an online program, a clip on YouTube from Red Bar, where Mike David was talking about how his dad introduced him to Doritos, and my brain was like, Doritos? My whole brain set on fire. Not quite like Los Angeles, but my brain set on fire, and I was like, oh my God, Doritos. I haven't even had Doritos in years and years and years, but having gone 24 hours without eating, as soon as I heard someone say Doritos, I was like, oh my God. And then I was online. I'd be scrolling through stuff online, and I would see pictures of food, and I'd be like, But then, fast forward 24 hours later, okay? Actually, each morning I was going to a prayer service at my church where I go at 6:30 a.m. and praying, and that was very nice. I like connecting with people over there. Since I started doing this, I mean, in the past, if you told me I was going to go pray with people, I would have said, you're crazy. I'll never do anything like that. But I've learned really that I very much appreciate doing that, connecting with other brothers and sisters in Christ and finding that we have common worries and that we lean on one another and in our faith for support. I like doing that. But so fast forward now from Monday night to Tuesday night, in the afternoon, I was like, I think I'm going to Wednesday afternoon with this. And I didn't know what. And so, like, but by the time 6 or 7 in the evening rolled around, my mind was so ravenous with wanting to eat. I had not quite gotten to the point where my body makes the conversion to convert fat for energy. I hadn't quite made it there yet. Yet. I think that's called ketosis. And so I hadn't quite made it there yet, but my mind was just like, in my refrigerator, I have salami and provolone and tortillas, and I have leftover burritos and shredded cheddar cheese. And my mind is like ravenous. Like I said, I keep using the word ravenous because it's an apropos word to describe how I was feeling. I was literally so hungry. By the way, if you're new to this, listening, I appreciate it if you would follow me on Rumble, or if you would follow me on X. I'm CopyWho TV on X. That's my handle, and I think I'm just CopyWho on Rumble. If you search that, you can find me, or maybe there's a link where you're watching this or something. I would appreciate you guys following, hanging out, making commentary on the things I talk about. I'm delighted to have so many people checking this out today, and but so I was fasting and I just broke down that evening on Tuesday evening, and I was like, I gotta eat, and I did. I made leftover burritos, and I was so hungry and wanting to eat that I noticed I had to make myself stop eating. I was like, okay, I've had a helping, and after having this helping, I was telling myself not to eat because I just wanted to keep eating. It was like taking a while for my body to chill out. I never exposed myself to this kind of anxiety from deliberate starvation before. People are calling it fasting, but when you're not eating, you know what I was having? Let me not forget to tell you this. I was eating bone broth, or I drinking bone broth. I bought some bone broth from Natural Grocers, and I was having 3 cups a day. They were 40 calories each. It has some amino acids in it. It has some electrolytes in it. And I drank a ton of water. And the first day I was just pissing like a racehorse. I don't know if that's part of the process or what, but it tasted disgusting. But it was like, even though it was disgusting, all that I was allowing myself to eat was bone broth. So I was having the bone broth. And I don't like the taste of it. And I even looked in to see if I could have vegetable broth instead, but I was like, from what I was reading, you don't quite get the same kind of nutritional support from what I was doing. But after I ate, it felt like I had tremendous euphoria from eating. I felt very much infused in my mind with this kind of boost in my mood, and that lasted into the next day. I woke up in the middle of the night between Tuesday and Wednesday having all sorts of thoughts and reflections about what I put myself through. So the feeling of starvation, how miserable it is, how desperate it feels. And from that feeling, like, I started thinking about how other people are in a desperate situation, starving, and they don't have the luxury and the blessing that I have. Like, there's my refrigerator. As soon as I'm done with this experiment, I can go eat. So I was feeling real sadness for people who are starving, who have to go through that, and they're desperate because they don't know where their next meal is coming from. And so I want to, like, figure out ways where I can contribute to feeding people who are actually in need of eating. I mean, I've actually gone up and given people bills on the street, like 10s, 20s before, in hopes that they're going to go get a meal or something. And I don't know that they're going to do that, but I like to think that they're going to fill their belly. They might get a drug or something. They might go get drugs and get high, which is not what I want. What I really want is to help people who are hungry. But and so it also made me feel extremely grateful to have the blessing of food abundance in my life, to be able to eat when I need to eat. My family's never had to starve or anything, but I actually have a store. I have some stored food for the rainy day when you might not be able to go to the grocery store and get food. I have some food to feed me for a while here in case the shelves go barren, because I don't want to be part of the group that is like desperate and at the grocery store in a mob scene trying to get food. I even try to encourage people I know and love, some of whom think I'm crazy. I encourage them, have some stored food around, because we're not in a stable, normal country anymore. True. Very true. So behind me, this is obviously like I made a backdrop of a bunch of fires and apocalyptic scenes. It seemed appropriate for this week because of what's happening in Los Angeles. But what you're seeing here is a playlist from YouTube. I took a bunch of footage and put it in a playlist and played it. And I also have that over here on this wall, on the third wall, I like to call it. And yeah, so obviously palm trees in LA, and other scenes of mayhem that people are living through. It's really sad for me what happened there, but it's not random happenstance. Let me go into this. I'm going to be talking a lot about this today, so I'm just going to take my time and take it easy. Before I get into that, before I get into the LA fires, another thing I did for the new year was, a New Year's resolution was, I decided to quit biting my nails, because I've had this problem on and off in my life, and I've gone back to it at times when I've begun anew, going into habits that are not good for me, like smoking marijuana, nervous habits, smoking cigarettes, another nervous habit. I've gone back to biting my nails, and so then I've quit for many years at a time, and recently I had fallen into this habit again, and I was disgusted with myself, so I didn't even contemplate it for long in my head. I just decided, New Year's resolution, quit biting my nails. And I did. And I'm really glad that I did. Another thing I want to address before I start getting into my whole spiel, the things I want to say about what happened. Again, like, if you're new to this, please follow me. Please consider hanging out. Please consider interacting. My handle on X is CopyWho TV, and my handle on Rumble is just CopyWho. If you search CopyWho, it should come up. But if you're watching the video on there, you should maybe theoretically be able to... Why do I draw a blank like that? You should theoretically be able to click somewhere and subscribe there. I have to check it out. I'm a little new to the streaming on Rumble thing, but it's like I'm slowly building, slowly trying to put this out there more to different platforms and stuff. I wanted to say, what did I want to say before I get into my whole spiel? I quit biting my nails. I did quit biting my nails. It's been, the last day I bit my nails was the last day of December. And that's been, it's very, I know that it rewires the brain. And I had a headache from quitting biting my nails. I even went to Grok, because I love Grok. I asked Grok a lot of things, and I said, hey, Grok. I like to joke around when hey, Grok, like it's a person or some kind of personal thing. Kind of ridiculous. It's not a person, but it feels like a person the way that it responds to me. Anyway, I said, Grok, is it possible to have headaches from not biting my nails if I've been a habituated nail biter for a long time? And it's like, yes, it's like giving up any habit can cause kind of stress on the system, and it can cause you to have a headache. And so, yes, I did have a headache. And while I'm talking about this, I want to come over here and say, come play this music right here, and I want to come over here and get my water, because that's what I do. I drink water when I do these things. I need the water because my throat starts drying out. I talk so much on these things for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, that my throat actually gets tired. And there have been days when I practiced singing before coming to do this, and my voice was extra irritated. And so I'm trying to avoid that little bit of extra irritation by not singing. Maybe I'll sing later on in the afternoon, but for now, I preserved my voice. And I will say to all of you, 80 people have tuned in the first few minutes. I don't know if someone retweeted me or what, but thank you for being here. And I have quite a bit to say about the last few years in the United States, leading into Los Angeles, some on the election of Donald Trump, perhaps. Several clips. Stick around, because after I take a break, I'm going to do the rise. Today, The TV is not Lazarus anymore. I was actually ashamed last week after I watched myself pretending to be Jesus, telling my TV Lazarus to rise, because I was just nasty. And I'm not joking right now. I'm being sincere that I kind of disgusted myself with my behavior, and I just don't want to be that guy. And I got to mellow out a little bit, and I got to get real about who I am, because I say I have faith, but I'm like a dreadful person in some respects, the way that my tongue is unbridled. I'm not proud of myself the way I behave. And so today, the TV is Los Angeles. And when the TV goes up, I'm going to say, like, rise, Los Angeles, come back from the dead after all the burning. It saddens me how many people have lost their homes. And I've been thinking a lot about people who are desperate and displaced. And I'm glad if it's people who are not completely destitute. Like if you're still wealthy and you have somewhere to go, then I'm grateful for that. But I'm really sad for people who might not have house insurance and their house burned down and that's all they have. I'm really worried about them, and I'm not quite sure how to contribute to helping them, but I do have the deepest of concern for them, and I'm looking into ways to help. I spend some of my money every month. I'm trying to be generous with people in need, and it's because I feel like if I'm a real Christian, I have to pay forward some of my blessings and abundance in life. Maybe I should be paying forward all of it, but I don't know. I'm feeling like I don't know, my mind's bugging out when I see that 80 people have tuned in to listen since I started. I'm like, holy crap, are you serious? Because that's like the biggest I've had. It's really been different since I started posting on Rumble. And so I'm not streaming live to YouTube because I'm afraid they're going to like cut off the stream or they're going to flag me for copyright or something. So what I'm doing is after the recording is done, I take the recording on my computer and I'm going to be uploading it to my YouTube channel. I just don't care to stream live there because I don't trust them not to knock the stream off or give me some kind of strike or some kind of, you're being hateful or whatever, because my whole attitude is I want to say whatever it is I want to say, and I'm not going to go way over the top and be like a psycho jerk or anything, but I just want to say what I want to say. That is who I am. And yeah, so the big TV is not Los Angeles. Those are just interesting clips of fire that I streamed together for the backdrop today, because we're moving past the Christmas season, and the whole week feels appropriate to do that because of the apocalyptic scenes taking place in Los Angeles. Where to talk now? Let me take a drink. Give me a break. I need to take a drink for a second. Yes. All you newcomers, please follow the channel. I feel welcome to hang out. Feel welcome to comment in the chat, because I want to have interactions. I want to know what people think. Within reason, as long as you're civilized and we're being intellectual, you're welcome to comment. I want you to comment. I want to know what people think. So, the LA fires, what a horrific tragedy. These last few years, 3 or 4 years, my own personal life, for a myriad of reasons, has been challenging and turned upside down. There are trials and tribulations, and I could not have made it through all of that without my faith. I have felt very challenged in my life to maintain civility, and I haven't always. I'm not like saying I'm so great. I've had moments where I am not dignified and where I am hostile and angry, but my anger is not directed at God. It's really just frustration with a lot of the conditions we're living in, because I think I have a broad spectrum view of the world. Having studied philosophy ever since I was young, I subject my views to extreme doubt to think about what the real truth is, given a great many things, especially not just philosophically, the nature of existence, my spiritual life, God, my faith, what people believe about society and all of these things, etc. Cetera is the way you say it, etc. Whoa, that's not what I want. Yeah. Misfire. These last 4 years, beginning with the lockdowns, I really feel like the lockdowns, 2 weeks to change to kill the curve or whatever they were saying, it was it was the beginning of so many changes. I think in the last 4 years, the American people have never been more abused and lied to than ever in modern times. Growing up as a child of the 80s and having a wonderful time in my young adult life in the 90s, I feel like I have been blessed to live in this epic time and to live in one of the greatest time periods ever. But we turned a corner where I'm like very nervous that things could become like the worst times of ever. I think there's a deliberate active campaign to change the nature of the world, to lead us down a path, funnel us down a path to a one world global government that very much resembles communism. And it justifies itself based upon what I hate saying this, but I think it's true, the lie of climate change. So we began with the lockdowns, kind of like training us to be little complicit animals, like we're like cattle to the people in the world doing this. The lockdowns I consider to be a crime against humanity. You should never be telling people stop surviving, hide inside. No matter what's happening in the world, people need to get out there and survive and make life work. So the pandemic was horrible to me. It was a terrible experience. The very first day they were telling people not to go outside, I was saying, we're being conquered. And I was angrily expressing my views and thoughts to my dad at the time, who thought I was being overboarded, and he didn't understand then what I was saying. He's come around a little bit to realize that lockdowns are always wrong. We should never have lockdowns. And then we got to this creepy era with the vaccines and all the rhetoric surrounding vaccines and the horrible treatment of people to like try and pressure people into taking this thing that was not properly tested. And I think there are side effects to them, and I'm not going to lie about that. If I must be arrested or put in a concentration camp or among the dead, then so be it, for saying what I'm saying, because I do believe they're trying to make our lives just constantly with the imposition of you take these vaccines or else you're not going to be able to take part in society. Digital IDs propose the same threat. Digital IDs are what they want to impose on people to like verify that you've had the vaccine, and then that will allow you to travel or move around until moving around is restricted, and you can't just go anywhere because it's really becoming a communist reality. That is one of the hallmarks of communism, is you're not just allowed to go places. Your travel is heavily restricted. And it seems like throughout my life, and especially since 9/11 in 2001, that travel has become more and more restricted. It's more difficult to travel. And when you travel, you have to go through absurd security measures, to confirm you're not a terrorist when you're obviously not one. A lot of people, I don't know what a terrorist looks like, but I know what one doesn't look like. So sometimes when they're badgering old people, elderly people, it's like, yeah, I don't think this old American traditional grandma, so you don't have to pull her aside and check through her purse. It's just nonsense what they're doing. And so fast forwarding a little bit, 15-minute cities were mentioned. Maui and LA burning down have so much in common in the way of what I'm calling basically deliberate, purposeful, intentional, weaponized bureaucratic administration. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say that? Like, it's not merely incompetence what happened. Like, LA is a tinderbox area, and you have to have fire mitigation. That is like the base minimum of what you have to have as in terms of government services in an area like that. It's a tinderbox area because it's actually like a desertous climate. So things dry out, and you have to constantly have fire mitigation as a top tier priority, which is never compromised. And so the scale they employed by compromising what they're doing was vast. Cutting the budgets, cutting off water, not cutting back overgrown green life like trees and whatnot. It's absurdity, and not having water going to fire hydrants. And frankly, it masquerades as incompetence when it's really like it's deliberate, and it masquerades as incompetence by installing imbeciles who are willing, able, and ready to lie about things, whether it's the chief of the fire department being hired for identity instead of merit and ability, the mayor being hired for identity instead of leadership capabilities. What's her name? Karen Bass. The governor of the state, Gavin Newsom, which I can't tell you how many times in the past year before this ever happened, I have addressed him directly on X by calling him the destroyer of California. And it's not like I want to be right about that. So it's not like, yay, I'm right. I said he's the destroyer of California, and look, now what happened? All this stuff burned down. They're estimating the cost of the damage is like $150 billion. But if you're that, to me, it's criminal negligence. It has resulted in such a grim outcome. This is one of the most tragic events in the history of the United States, one of the epicenters of American culture, admired and loved throughout the world. Los Angeles, I love it. I love California. I've been so excited and in love with California ever since I was a little kid on so many levels. I went there and I was just beaming with excitement being there, knowing that that's where they make movies, that's where they make TV shows, the beach, palm trees. I love it. Beautiful natural beauty. So like, to mismanage such a place, the size of the economy is enormous on the scale of the world. Like California's economy is up there with other gigantic, long-established nation states. Wonderful place. I love it. And so to see it mismanaged, to see it from a distance, and me just, no one even knows me personally. I'm not famous or anything, but I see it and I go, oh, I see that that's being mismanaged there. They take shit tons of billions of dollars to make railroads that never get built, and the money gets wasted and blown. How does that happen? It's almost like it's corrupt and people are stealing it. They take shit tons of money to work on billions and billions to work on homeless problems. Homeless problems don't get solved, but they wind up spending a fortune to, put like 50, 100, 150 people in a fortune, meaning like billions. Then they build these structures that only house like a very small minutia of people. And it's like, oh, well, California is obviously super corrupt. Where's all the money going without solving any of these problems? So this is going to be another one of those big fiascos. I mean, I genuinely believe what I'm going to tell you right now, okay? So that because of the nature of this problem, if you get drunk on the road and you go and you accidentally kill someone, your life is totally screwed. We know that's true. Your life is screwed, and you're not going to be able to go on without facing a severe penalty. So as the leader of the state, and as the leader of the city of Los Angeles, and maybe even the fire department, I don't know if necessarily as much the fire department because they're at the whim of the politicians, but definitely the governor, definitely the mayor, totally derelict in duty. It is criminal negligence resulting in enormous damage, enormous property damage. And so it's like set up on purpose. And what's the purpose? Okay. I'll get to some of that later in the second half here. It's like, this is the rebuilding of LA. I have a clip coming up from Klaus Schwab where he talks about LA will be car free by the 2030. And it's like, how are you going to do that? Well, you burn it all down and you make a smart city out of it. And Maui is an extremely similar situation where there was serious incompetence in that whole situation with Maui being burned down. Those people didn't want to sell. It all got burned down. And now the rich people who wanted it, they're doing it anyway. They're buying it up anyway. And so I think the Palisades in California are going to become a smart city, probably a 15-minute city. And if you don't know what that is, you must have your head under a rock or something. But they want to use the excuse of climate lockdowns to make people live a completely different lifestyle where you live in a 15-minute zone and you almost never go outside of it. Social credit scores, which will even disallow you to travel places. It will disallow you from spending money. I can't get into all this right now, CBDCs and whatnot, central bank digital currencies. If you don't know what that is, how could you possibly not know what that is? It's it's a digital straitjacket on your life is what it is. That's what the digital IDs coupled with social credit scores and central bank digital currencies, which are not really money. They're just basically like coupons to give you basic services. You get, and you can't spend it outside of a certain geographic zone. Look up what that is right now, because that's not what I want to talk about. But what I do want to talk about is the destruction that has come to Los Angeles this week and how heartbreaking it is to me. Where am I? Am I about 30 minutes? I'm 32 minutes in. And what I want to do is I want to take my first break, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell my TV's name for the day is Los Angeles. And I'm going to come back and we're going to make this TV go up. We're going to say like, rise Los Angeles, become great again. Make Los Angeles great again is what I want to say. Make Los Angeles great again. And not in the globalist sense, but in the true sense of Americana. Constitutional Americana is what I want to see happen and come back to California. I wanted to California to have a revival in certain values, especially Christian values. Seriously, I think so many stories in the Bible are about how nations become cursed when people are sinful, and when you're sinful, God lets evil rulers rule over you, and then you become cursed and everything falls apart. And so I think that's a serious discussion everyone needs to have. And if you're cringed out by me wanting to talk about Christianity, that's too bad, but I'm going to talk about it because I am a Christian and Jesus is my Lord. And even though I am a sinner, I'm trying to curtail my old ways and submit fully to being born anew. But what I want to do for you now is I want to take you into my first break of the day, and I will say that I will be right back. Stick with me. Feel free to comment if you're out there paying attention and you but be nice. That's all. I'm not going to have an argument with someone. I'm not going to start calling someone names, but if we have good ideas that we can convey to one another, then that would make me very happy, and I will be back in just a moment, everyone. Peace. Hello, I've returned. Do you know what I was doing? It was time for the wardrobe change. You might see a new theme in this third season. Yellow. Yellow's the theme. And yellow stripes. Yellow stripes on those things over there, those LED screens. Yellow stripes. Or no, yellow accent lights, everything. I was just now running around. I ran and I put all my wet laundry in the dryer. So I'm doing laundry while I do this. Do you know I ran? This is in my house. I ran to the laundry room and I put a bunch of items into the dryer to dry my stuff out. Hello, everyone. Yeah. That was a good feeling, though, getting that into the dryer because I need it. Oh, my gosh. Why is it all in the same dude? I'm just looking at the third wall over here. Okay, there we go. That's cool. Check it out, all that footage from the... So the idea here is I want to have certain TVs sometimes when there's a big relevant event like this, playing footage of what's going on so that there's a historic relevance to what I'm doing. And that's the whole idea. That's the whole plan. I welcome any of you to follow the CopyWho Rumble channel, or my handle on X is CopyWho TV. Help me grow this thing because, as you can see, I kind of take it to a ridiculous level with what I'm doing here production-wise. And so I would be so grateful to those of you who want to hang out, become a part of this community, and interact. That makes me very much grateful. Well, now I actually want to come here and I want to do this. I want to jump into this rise that I was talking about, okay? So what we're going to do when I go to the rise is basically I'm going to put these lights on again, and I'm going to stay on this page, and the tune is Rise Me Up, and I'm going to start playing, and now I'm going to go boom. All right, Los Angeles, you've taken the hardest hit. Maybe the hardest hit in all of the United States. In the history of the modern United States, I think it's one of the most tragic things that has happened as far as just wreaking enormous destruction. But I know we're a great nation and we can be blessed again to do amazing, wonderful things. So I want to say, Los Angeles, rise. Rise, Los Angeles. Redevelop. Do it constitutionally. Make Los Angeles great again. One of the most tragic weeks, honestly. And there are a lot of people I don't like personally, okay? But I still have a lot of love for people, and even the people I don't like personally, I'm not happy about people I don't like losing their homes, having their homes burned down. But even worse, like your whole community is devastated. Kids grew up there, and it's so tragic to think that the place you've always known is just wiped out and gone. I'm truly sorry for that. And I truly pray that people get their lives back in order and that they find a stable situation in which to reestablish, and that they live good lives, and that they learn and grow from this. I do have a friend who, when he was little, he told me how their house burned down. And he lost everything when he was a little kid. So if that happens to you, and he's a very well-adjusted individual on a lot of levels. But so if that happens to you as a child, and you basically learn that easy come, easy go, like I would be pretty miserable if my house burned down. But I suppose, if you have the resources to reestablish, and if you're alive, and if your family is alive, and you recognize the importance of those things, and if you have faith, then you can move on, and you can be grateful. You can truly be grateful, and that tragedy might very well have been God's plan for you to bring you to the next phase of greatness in your life, and enlighten your perspective to be a better person, to grow spiritually. I mean, talk about the opportunity for spiritual growth. Your house burns down, but not only your house, your community. So you might lose touch with your community because they're not there anymore. And then what? Do they become faces on Facebook or something? Because that's sort of sad. I guess I would encourage people to try and reconnect and have perspective. I mean, like, after something like this happens, I could totally understand how perspective is hard to come by, but lean on people for support. Good-hearted people with a good spiritual basis in life, lean on people for support. And hear what I say, how the powerful tool that your perspective is. I'm going to cut out of this for the moment, and I'm going to bring you to something new, something blue. Here we go. I want to first take you to a clip of the maestro of the World Economic Forum, the bug-eating king himself, Klaus Schwab, talking about his plan for Los Angeles in 2030, what he was foreseeing. And so let's come over here with that really quick, shall we? Here he is, the old codger himself, with malevolent intentions. I do feel that way, and it's really hard for me to find forgiveness for a person like this when I really think I have a keen take on what he's got planned for all of us, beginning with Los Angeles. Like, because I personally saw this coming a mile away. I knew that LA was a tinderbox. I've heard the stories. A lot of people knew this. Somehow the leadership was not in on that loop. But let's hear what Klaus Schwab has to say about the future of Los Angeles. This was, I can't tell you the exact date. It's not listed on the page here. But let's listen to what good old Klaus has to say.
It was the 20th Governance Summit. You will use the app like Uber, but not anymore to call some driver, but automatically guided car, a self-driven car, will come to your hotel or wherever you are and will bring you.
If you're allowed to travel, an automatically driven car. Now think about the end. I've been rattling like a broken record to my dad for years about the end of autonomous movement being upon us. So many things they're just trying to incrementally take away from us. And so you call a car, imagine you call a car and it's like, nope, you've had your travel allotment for this week. You're not allowed to go. So, or you said something online socially and it's all tied into one thing through your digital ID. And it's like, nope, you're not allowed to go right now. Or you can't pay for it because your central bank digital currency credits are expired. It's a total nightmare. Keep talking, dude, because there's more I want to say.
The airport. No, Los Angeles is one of the cities with the heaviest traffic. Who told me in 2030 Los Angeles will be private car driven free. And this will allow to transform highways into parks and other public spheres.
Okay. So think about what he's saying there, okay? By 2030, if you've been to Los Angeles, you know it's like unbelievably super populated with private car ownership, and getting around is really a pain in the ass. It's a nightmare. That's one of the nightmares about Los Angeles, notwithstanding loving it so much. So this was before the fires. And you ask yourself, hey, how in the world could you accomplish that? What large steps could you take in order to rid Los Angeles of private car ownership? Well, everything just burned down. How convenient. Everything burned down. It's all gone now. Has to be rebuilt in a new smart city form, which is like the form that the Maui reconstruction is going to take. But so this is so tragic that Alex Jones was saying it on Friday about how really California is so inept and dysfunctional that you can't just go giving a bunch of money to California. We'll see what Joe Biden does between now and the inauguration. If he's like, here's $100 or $100 billion, because all that money is going to go to waste, which is like what the government is doing right now. It's part of what they're trying to do to like collapse the country, collapse the currency, I think, to bring in these new ideas and areas, 15-minute cities, which the Palisades might very well be one, rebuilt as a smart city. But that's why I say make California, make Los Angeles great again, because it needs to be rebuilt and constituted on original constitutional American values. Otherwise, it's going to be a big shit show, and it's going to be a horrible model for the future of the country. And by the way, the game plan of burning down Los Angeles, the ineptitude that led to that, like I said earlier, purposeful, intentional, deliberate, weaponized, bureaucratic administration. It's criminal. It's weaponized against people. How do you get rid of all these wealthy properties and people? You burn it all down. And it can be done in a tinderbox area just by ignoring your responsibility and pretending to be dumb. And so people like the governor need to be held accountable, not just allowed to retire because of this terrible, terrible tragedy, but seriously, he should face some kind of criminal liability because of the criminal negligence involved in not maintaining these things. These things like the water needed to put out fires, fire hydrants, cutting back overgrown greenery, etc., and more. There's more to it than that. Having the reservoirs empty, not having the water available, pouring water into the ocean when it could have been sitting there in a reservoir waiting for just such a moment. But let's admit, it's deliberate in the sense that you create the right conditions on purpose, and there's a long history of fire remediation in California, learning the difficult way. Like there's a historic fire that I believe happened in the early 20th century in San Francisco. So you learn from these things, and these are priorities that are essential and something that should never be compromised. So they need to do a probe into it and say, why was this priority put on the back burner? Was it to save money, or was it really some bigger nefarious purpose? I am a believer that it's the bigger nefarious purpose. When you realize the goals of the World Economic Forum and the New World Order to bring about a whole new reality in our lives, then you realize something's amiss here, something's wrong, and something needs to be done about it. So let me cut out of this really fast, bring you back over here. And actually, I think if I go like this, my stream's just going to keep going. Yeah, of course. More on fire. What do I want to look at next here? So let me just show you how brilliant this is, okay? I want to open this up, and one sec. This does not have, or I don't know if it does have audio, but this is brilliant. This is what the Japanese have in their country for fire remediation. It's brilliant. You build it into the community. Now watch this video here. This is kind of extraordinary. Let me see if the sound is on for this.
Fire extinguishing in Shirakawa. Have you ever seen a village with automatic fire extinguishing? In Shirakawa Village, Japan, ancient thatched houses over 250 years old hide a stunning secret: an automatic sprinkler system. When a fire breaks out, 60 sprinklers
built all around them
pop up and spray high-pressure water like a giant fountain, quickly extinguishing the flames. The annual test.
So yeah, it's brilliant, and like it seems like a lot of communities could afford to be built that way, and I really think that. But if you give a shitload of money, if you don't federalize some of the response to California and say, okay, your sovereignty is suspended for now, and we're kind of taking over with some form of martial law, then you're going to give them that money, and they're going to like piss it into the wind like everything else they've done with the railways and giving money to homelessness that never solves any aspect of homelessness, while all these problems just get worse and worse. So like on some level, it has to be a federalized response.
Turns into a spectacular water pipe festival, drawing countless visitors.
Now imagine if they had something like that built around every structure provided with water in Los Angeles. We'd be if every neighborhood were regulated like that, it's like the cost of doing that is far less than just burning everything down. But again, there's some ulterior motive to letting the responsibility go so that everything burns down. It's advantageous for some people. They create a problem, and now some crooked players are going to come in with their solution. I will not be surprised if the Biden administration comes in before the end of like next week when the inauguration is supposed to take place, and they give California another humongous sum of money that doesn't exist, and it'll all be pissed into the wind. And so I hope the new president manages this correctly. I mean it when I say I want California to be great again. I've been calling Gavin the destroyer of California for a long time, way before this happened. And look what happened under your leadership. I guarantee you, you might think I'm a clown or something, but this would never happen if I were in charge. I'm not joking, because I would be up there studying what's the most important thing to keep my state safe, what are the things we have to do, and to get done, to follow through with it. But government ineptitude, I've heard so much, so I learned a little bit about it when I read Governor Schwarzenegger's autobiography that he wrote, and talking about the gridlock and the corruption in Sacramento. It's totally fucked. And if they don't get serious, I mean, I don't know how these people are going to rebuild their houses, because so much has burned down, and California has these ridiculous regulations to get through permitting processes and whatnot. You basically have to carve those out if people really want to be able to move back. And is insurance even going to really be able to pay for all that stuff? Are people going to have the money to even do that? No, I think these areas are truly maybe permanently devastated, and people lost everything they have because it burned down. And like I said before, they might not have even had insurance. How totally freaking sad and psychotic is this whole system? But brilliant system they have here in Japan. I love seeing that. Here's what I want to go to my next video. It is of it's Josh Flagg from Million Dollar. What is it? Why do I keep forgetting the name of the show? I've watched several episodes of it. Million Dollar. It's not Million Dollar Deal. I'm gonna look it up really quick. Josh Flagg. Million Dollar Listing. Million Dollar Listing. Oh yes, I got it. Million Dollar Listing. He had a little segment on Fox News, and I found it very interesting because something stood out. Like no, this is not Josh. Oh, this is Josh, my friend Josh. Okay, so this is like a little parody thing of the governor. Let's see what he says in 35 seconds of stupidity. This man is like a very dangerous man, I think, and he's very worrisome to me. I can't if he truly feels like it was an accident in his mind and heart, then he's a deluded individual. There's some malevolence here. Make no mistake. There was a plan to transform the state, and you do so by creating destruction like this. I have not been the only one that compared Los Angeles to the burning of Rome by Emperor Nero, who had plans to change it all around for his own selfish baloney. But it's not, Gavin didn't burn it down for his own selfish baloney. I believe truly that Gavin is a puppet of the New World Order, and he's a puppet of the World Economic Forum. And so he just does what he's told. He wouldn't be in that position. He wouldn't have been rewarded with this position in that high stature if he had been like truly American constitutionalist guy. California's been an amazing conquering. It's an epic historic story. It doesn't make me happy, but it's amazing and it's epic what has happened there. But let's see what he's saying here. Obviously with the backdrop of things burning down. I'm predicting right now. I'm about to hear a shitload of BS come right out of this man's mouth. Play.
That's what's different now is we are committed as a team, as a partnership with the legislature and other state agencies, including now the federal government, no longer a sparring partner, but a working partner. Federal government, where we're not addressing headwinds, but tailwinds in terms of the support, a memorandum of understanding, doubling our respective commitments to vegetation management and forest management and prescribed burns to support the Biden administration with resources, not just rhetoric, to help this collective cause. It's a different paradigm. It's a different framework. That's what.
So I think what you were saying was pre-fire, And yet, so you're saying the right things. You know what the right things are to do, but you didn't do them.
Now,
You did not do them. That's abundantly clear that the job did not get done. It burned down on your watch, and you should not have a career after this. So I'll tell you what, I will have so much disgust if what happens is we go on and this man is not held accountable. Your career should be over. Not only should you have already resigned, same with Karen Bass, you should be held liable for criminal negligence resulting in death, resulting in enormous property damage. Now, I know there are also a bunch of psycho arsonist jerks who are out there lighting fires as well. It's kind of like what seems to happen in society. Oh, me. That should have been behind me. All of this is heavy subject matter, and I can't imagine. So I have the luxury of sitting here at home in comfort, and knock on wood, I hope I actually express gratitude sometimes in my prayers that I'm living comfortably in a home and I'm well taken care of. I feel warm at night. I feel cozy, relaxed on my couch. I love that. And I'm grateful to that. I swear I am so grateful to God for that. I'm expressing sincere gratitude to you right now as I press the crash button. Truly. Let's see. This next one is very interesting, coming from Joe Rogan and Mel Gibson having a conversation the other day about California and inept management. It's 4 minutes, 9 seconds. I do want to really play this one. And actually, I think it's the same guy, Rogan Clan. Okay, maybe you're working for Joe. I don't know. But sometimes I wonder about people posting clips on YouTube. It's like you don't add anything to it. So I'm here trying to make commentary. I'm seriously trying to add to the topic something meaningful. And then people will seriously just take a clip and put it up there like that. But I mean, I'd be happy if people were doing that for me because I'm trying to get out there. But it's like you don't add anything to it. You don't have any commentary. You're just like, oh, this is like something that might go viral. I'll take this clip and put it out there. But it is at least a Joe Rogan tribute channel. And in that sense, it serves to benefit Joe being able to have people out there promoting his content. But let me play this for you right now. There's a lot that's said in the... I actually am very sad. I like Mel Gibson because he's a brother in Christ. I think he's a serious man of faith. And he says the truth about how dark and devious Hollywood is. That's not what he's talking about here, but I've really like grown to love this man. Even I've heard him in his darkest moments, the phone recordings of him and stuff, being mean, I think, to the mother of his child. But it's like, brother, I understand and I forgive you. You know why? Because I've been on the angry side of things, and I've been very undignified, and I understand that sometimes we get angry in life when we do that. And so I still think you're a very good person, and I genuinely believe you're a man of Christ, and I appreciate that.
Dangerous now.
I think they are.
Yeah, I think so for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, we were just talking about the wildfire situation and how crazy it is.
This is before this week. Or no, I think it was during the fire happening, and Joe is talking about someone who gave a warning about it a long time ago. And if you have half a brain, you can understand these details. You don't have to be some kind of expert. You can get it explained within 15 to 30 minutes, and you go, okay, I kind of understand what a city has to do to maintain these problems. The particulars are different. You send your people out and figure out what it is you got to do for fire mitigation in certain spots and make sure things work right, inspect the infrastructure and keep an eye on the infrastructure, keep it well funded, have qualified people as firemen to run up and down stairs saving people.
They spent $24 billion last year on the homeless.
Yeah.
And what did they spend on preventing these wildfires?
Zero.
Zip.
And in 2019, I think Newsom said, I'm going to take care of the forests and maintain the forests and do all that kind of stuff. He didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything. And then on top of that, they cut the water off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's all funny. And then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel. I don't know, but it's like, it's sad. It's like the place is just on fire.
Well, the whole state is just so poorly managed. It's so it's so frustrating.
I've like known that for a long time. When I drove around in July of 2019, I was like, what the hell is going on? It's this wonderful place that I love. Like I said, I love California. It is like the pride and joy of America was California for so long before it truly fell into disarray. And I believe that's on purpose. I believe that you can conquer nations and states through administrative warfare. That's why I keep calling it deliberate, purposeful, intentional, weaponized, bureaucratic administration.
And confusing, and then he gets on TV and pretends like everything's
It's how
great.
you collapse things. It's how you collapse societies. It's how you collapse civilization.
And California's the best. We have the best state. We have the most amazing economy. And like, you're out of your fucking mind, dude. You've ruined this state. Like, personally ruined it.
Well, it's the same team that was up in San Francisco, and they came down to L.A., and they're doing what they did in San Francisco.
It's very, And what I want to say is it's very easy to destroy, especially easily accomplished when you have power. It's easy to destroy. You set things on fire, you create the conditions for fire, destroyed. It's very much a challenge to take resources, even if you have resources and power, and to do something special and effective with it. That's a truly noble challenge, putting your mind to that.
Yeah.
San Francisco's kind of like apocalyptic now, you know.
Yeah.
I went there, and it's just like people, homeless. It's a mess.
It's just unbelievable that society can crumble that quickly. It really is unbelievable.
It doesn't take long.
No.
Correct.
Yeah. I read a book once by Jared Diamond called...
Excuse me. I bought that book after I heard him say this the first time, but wait a minute. Let me go back.
It doesn't take long.
No.
Oh, yeah. It takes, like Ronald Reagan said, all it takes is one generation for everything to fall apart. I distinctly feel that the last 20 years have been pivotal, especially since 9/11. And after 9/11, everyone was scared, and they're like, Patriot Act. Well, the Patriot Act on so many levels was the beginning of the end. It was like the construction of the coffin, and now they're trying to kill the corpse. And we don't have the nail in the coffin yet, but like the corpse is like, it's not the corpse yet, but something is writhing and it's about to die and become a corpse. But I hope Alex Jones is right when he says we're experiencing a lot of wins and victories. Nobody's going to win after this civilizational collapse. We're all going to suffer gravely. I'm afraid for the future because I have to live. My dad said he's not afraid last night, and I think that's because he's 80, and I don't know how much longer he has, but like, if I were 80, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to be out of here soon too. This is silly, but true. I thought about Ronnie James Dio, the musician, and Lemmy from Motorhead. I thought about how they're both passed away, and I thought, you lucky guys. Yeah, it sounds crazy, but here's my point. My point is they got to live the most amazing lives, and they got to go before it got weird. So I think Lemmy died in 2015, and I think Ronnie died in 2010. And I'm like, you lucky guys didn't even get to see this sad ending. Like, I'm wondering, well, no, I'll keep going. I don't want to, I have to keep being a little moderate in all the things I'm saying because this is going to be a long recording today.
Yeah. I read a book once by Jared Diamond called Collapse. Have you ever read that book?
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy, right? It says
I didn't read it yet, but I've listened to Alex Jones for 10 years. And so I bet I'll read the book and I'll be like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Things you need
It's
for
not
civilized...
funny. I'm laughing because let me tell you something else, okay? Life is a bitch. So you have to laugh at life because life is a bitch. You can either be miserable and scowl and gnash your teeth, or you can laugh at things sometimes. Laugh sometimes. You know what I mean, people? We need to laugh.
To cave in and collapse. And a lot of the things are present. All those earmarks, the precursors of a collapse,
Yes.
they're present
Totally.
in our time. So it's an interesting observation.
Yeah.
And we're no smarter than our grandparents, I don't think.
Well, that brings me to one of my favorite movies of yours, is Apocalypto.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when
Brilliant.
the Mayans were running things, like, who could have ever thought, when they had such an incredibly sophisticated society, unbelievable construction, like the stuff that they had built, that one day you just walk through there and there's nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing
So
and nobody.
I want to touch in on that and say, so I love studying history and seeing those parallels, and they're valid to point out. But on so many levels, right now we are in such a unique, novel context of history. Like, because we're literally to this breaking point, this precipice of global domination. And I think many aspects of global domination have been really manifested already, whether we're talking about the banking system, reading like David Rockefeller's autobiography book about how he was flying around establishing all these banking ties. That's like the preface to all this domination, and domination through medical health care being a tool and a weapon for social control. And you might say like conspiracy theory, but I really think this is true. And if you haven't studied it, look into it, because it's fascinating. And I think there's some merit to what I'm saying, that we are in a unique time period. And you can't tie every single solitary thing to something in the past. Although it teaches you something from the past, there are novel things that we have to be very insightful about and vigilant. And it's hard to speculate in this novel context about what exactly all the real truth is. Because I know I've said things today, people who are not in the know are going to be like, crazy conspiracy theorist, listen to this guy. Who my dad even thinks I'm nuts for thinking the things I'm thinking. But honestly, you have to stay up on it and think about the world in a very complex fashion to know what's going on.
In fact, there's something, because it's interesting. Somebody was flying by what they thought was a volcano in the 30s, some buzzboy. And he thought, hey, somebody built that. Wait a minute, there's 4 by 8 foot bricks. That's man-made. And it is literally the biggest pyramid in the world. It's bigger than the ones in Egypt, and it's in Guatemala.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day. Yeah, it's a recent discovery, right?
Well, not that recent. I was
I think I just want to chime in that there are past civilizations where I think things were technologically possible, and some of that is kept secret from us. So when we sit and speculate based upon our perspective of history, we always have to maintain some degree of skepticism that our perspective of history has been hugely manipulated to think something else. Specifically, think something else that serves someone in power who has designs for the future of the world that entail consolidating more power and control over things. So you got to be skeptical about history. Some of it we can see, and discerning people who are intelligent with a healthy degree of skepticism can figure some things out from it. But like the dumber people who really haven't invested in exercising doubt and skepticism about things, they're going to be lost, and they'll be most likely to be calling you stupid, when in fact the biggest geniuses in the world that seem crazy are more than likely, a lot of them, on the scent of truth.
years ago, I visited. I went down there with the...
I want to cut out of this because I know my time's going to run short, but I love these guys and what they're saying. And I like Joe Rogan, especially because there's a lot of truth spoken on his show. For as much as David Icke is harping on alternative media, especially pundits and people like Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, and so forth, I think they are still saying a lot of things that are true. Same with Elon Musk. So I can't fault Elon if he's saying something that rings true, and I think that it is. As a cynical person, I still have to sometimes say David Icke might be right. We might just be in a narrative sea change, and no matter who the president is, we're getting funneled down the the river to the same outcome and reality of the global one world government, digital IDs, vaccine passports, the end of autonomous movement, 15-minute cities, depopulation, the destruction of farming. I mean, like when I say like the destruction of farming, my head pulsates with like communism, communism, communism. Let me show you this clip, part of this last clip from Josh Flagg from $1 Million Listing. I want to open this up really quick. Josh Flagg is a famous real estate guy on this TV show, $1 Million Listing, LA. I've watched a lot of these episodes, and I've actually really enjoyed the hell out of these people selling houses and stuff, not just because of the drama, but the process of selling the houses and stuff. Imagining the devastation in LA really impacts what I think about that show. Like, I wonder how many properties they've actually sold on the show that burned up to smithereens in the last few days. So, and there's a key point when he says it, I'm going to stop it and be like, that's it. Because that's like what I've been saying. I said that before. I was saying that before he said that.
$1 Million Listing, Los Angeles starring realtor Josh Flagg. And my first question is your property and your home okay? And how are you and your family and your friends doing right now?
Well, I'm okay. You know, we have a place in New York and LA, so I'm here right now. I wanted to get out of there because what are we going to do? I mean, if the house burns, the house burns. I don't need to be in it, right? Let's just put it into perspective of how big of a deal this actually is, because I think people realize what a big deal this is. But, you know, I was walking down the street today. This is the size of Manhattan.
I think 2 Manhattans at this point, according to our
Nothing
reporters.
like this has ever happened. This is apocalyptic.
Yep.
Every one of my friends' beach houses are gone. My friend Rick Caruso, gone. Candy Spelling, gone. Melissa Rivers, gone. All of these people are really close in my life. It's it. Like, this is like something that has never happened in California history. It's insane. And by the way, this didn't need to happen if we want to get political.
The San Francisco fire happened. Or was it an earthquake? Did I mistake? Maybe there were fires, but it was an earthquake that caused the fires in San Francisco, I think. When I was talking earlier, I might have misspoken. I think it was an earthquake. Keep going, Josh.
Okay, let's talk about Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles. She's being criticized.
Something that has never happened in California history. It's insane. And by the way, this didn't need to happen.
It didn't need to happen. That's the part I wanted to make a point. It didn't need to happen. Like, be a broken record right now, Paul. Purposeful, deliberate, intentional, weaponized, bureaucratic administration. Totally, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Pete's sake.
Political.
Well, okay, let's talk about Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles. She's being criticized left, right, up, and down for her. She was reportedly warned before she left about the high winds, and she went to Africa.
If Rick would have won, this would never have happened. This would have been handled so completely differently. I mean, this is just absolutely insane. This is not like we're in the middle of the country.
I was paying attention to that because I can't remember the name. Garcetti was the mayor previously of L.A., and I think he was a incompetent Democrat. And so I was paying attention because I really knew that L.A. was troubled. And then as soon as I hear a Democrat is being elected, I'm like, oh, well, that's screwed. Totally screwed. I felt that way when Biden was elected, and I felt that things were going to get gravely worse for the whole country at an accelerated rate if Kamala was elected. It's the same cabal of people wreaking all this havoc on us. And that's what I wanted to hear Josh say, okay? He goes on to say that it's been good for the real estate market in Los Angeles because now the supply and demand has shifted. Renting a large house for $18,000 a month just went up to like $30,000, for example. And so it shoots up the prices of available houses enormously because these people who just had their houses burned down suddenly need to go get a new place. And that's the result. It's just so tragic on so many levels. And then people are there to take advantage of a bad situation. And that's always, always tragic. So actually, what I'm going to do right this minute is I'm going to take you out to my next break and play. There we go. Now it's pretty. I'm going to take you out to my next and final break. I'm going to come back, play a few more videos, and then wrap this thing up. Please follow on Twitter, on X. It's called X, right? X.com. My handle is it's CopyWho TV. And follow on Rumble. I do these things once or twice a week. I'm going to be trying to do a guest in once a week. That's the routine I want to get into. And then the other one is just going to be me sitting here doing my talking thing. Sometimes I'm going to be silly when it's not apocalypse week. But in any case, I will be right back in just a moment. And stay right there. Hello. It's human tragedy, people. A lot of celebrities impacted by this. Really sad. And like I said, I don't like everybody per se, but I have love for people, and there's no way, personally, I can't celebrate any of this. It's just super sad. Nothing about it makes me happy in the slightest. California wildfires, people. How sad, though. How truly sad. I mean, like, I'm sure some people would accuse me of spreading misinformation, but I'm just telling you the truth. It's what I mean when I say, my background is in philosophy. I've long said I have a personal vested interest in the truth, even if I don't like the truth. You have to want to know the truth, because we live in a world so full of deception. And a huge event like this happens, and there are invariably people who are spreading lies about it. And I think that's true of a certain leadership contingent in this country, especially the one on the left. That's just how I align. And I consider myself a political independent who leans right and conservative on a lot of issues, but I don't just automatically support this. Speaking of like leadership that's inept, oh, I missed it. It was playing over there. Like, it's kind of interesting how when the pictures on that third wall over there, when they're relevant, I can cut to it, and it's a little more dynamic that way. But I reiterate how sad I am about what has happened in California and Los Angeles. I'm sad for so many people, and I love the state. And I want nothing but the best for the state. I want it to thrive. I want it to be healthy. Yeah, fire hydrants not working. Can you believe that? Like, they should always be tested. They should always be working, especially when you live in a tinderbox called Los Angeles. Yeah. So I want to get back to watching some videos here, and what do we have first on tap here? It is apocalyptic scene in LA. Oh, here's what I want to show you is a clip of the very messed up LA mayor just kind of ignoring what someone's saying to her. Let's see what we have here. We go like 1, 2, 3, boom. Like this.
Panic state. It began 2 days ago with the Palisades fire. You were out of the country at the time. Shortly after the fire started, a press release was put out warning of this fire behavior. My question to you is, what explains this lack of preparation and rapid response?
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions?
Okay, so some dude is asking her questions here, and she's like staring off into space. Like, hey, leader, someone's talking to you. And you know what else she's doing? Like, so she's pretending like it's Thanksgiving, and she's going around taking pictures with people going, yay, we're all going to get through this. That's not leadership. That's like PR behavior. What are you going to do as a leader? Because if you were a leader, you'd be calling out every mistake that was made. Like, come clean now, because your life is probably going to be wrecked from this, but it could be salvaged if you're doing the actual right thing. Like, the people in the wrong are the ones who should not be playing politics. The people in the right should be playing politics, because you got to remove and thwart the people who cause this kind of calamity. You don't just let a state like California burn and do nothing, because it's so big in terms of scale that our destiny is tied to it profoundly on a gargantuan level. So she's just sitting there. Watch this.
And rapid response.
Watch.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor?
Well, say something. Do you have any?
Nothing to say today?
Nothing to say? Hello?
Have you absolutely nothing to say.
Hello? Why don't you say anything when he's asking these important, obvious questions, you say nothing. Nothing at all. You have nothing to say when he sits there and says that. I want to admit one thing. Like, I think this is a legitimate, real clip. So do you realize how this makes you look? You're out there taking pictures with people like it's Thanksgiving, but it's not Thanksgiving. Something terrible has happened. And this is not, we're going to work hard to get together. The answers you need from your advisors are, what are we going to say about what we're really going to do? What's the right thing to do in this situation? It's not to take pictures with people and be like, peace, yay. Now, I do want to like wish people peace, but it's not a photo op. This is not the kind of tragedy that is a photo op. And there was no social media during 9/11, so you didn't see people out there going, yay. It was just the normal legacy media coverage. I just can't freaking believe it. I'm disgusted by how she just sits there like a clueless lump on a log.
Citizens today.
Hello?
The chief also checks another box when it comes to inclusivity and diversity at this department. She's a proud member of the LGBTQ community.
And there we go. Just hold on. Keep going.
Kind of opens the door of people that thought, wow, I didn't even know that that was an opportunity for me. I am super inspired.
Out of 3,300 city firefighters, only one.
I can't speak to her level of competence. But what I can say is that instead of speaking to your level of competence, the story is that you're part of LGBTQ. But like as fire chief, the subject matter is your merit and your experience and your ability to manage this situation when there are fires in a tinderbox place. So it seems like they highlight the LGBTQ in that way too much. It's like when I was researching my daughter's middle school years ago, and all the teachers had a video online. And so you see like a math teacher. And if I were a math teacher, let me just do a little role playing here. I'm like, hi, I'm Paul. I'm so excited to teach your kids math because it teaches them how to look at things in different ways and solve problems. And I'm so excited to help them grow like that. It's my pleasure to interact with you as a parent and let you know how they're doing in math. And I hope this is really a good experience for them. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you as their math teacher, you know, on this journey of learning. I'm just so excited to see them grow and to become a better, more intelligent person. Math helps kids solve problems by thinking about it. There's so many different ways to do math, and it's such an enriching experience. Did you see what I just did there with math? So, but you watch the video that I watched of someone and it's like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm gay, and I'm gay, and I'm gay, and I'm gay, and I teach math. But like, you're my daughter's math teacher, and all I care about is you teaching her math. And it's not that I don't care about your personal details, okay? I'd probably be less offended if you said, hi, I'm a Christian and I teach math. But it's, and like, because Christians know if you're really a Christian, that's the most important thing in your life. I guess I'm biased, but still, you might be a Christian and you might be very bad at math. So I want you to teach math. And when you're in the fire department, you better be darn good at being a fire chief. So this inclusivity crap, DEI, as far as it doesn't, so it has only served to put people, imbeciles who don't know what they're doing, in positions of great importance where people rely on them for their lives and their safety and their well-being. As communities, the literal houses burn literally down. I'm not even using literally figuratively there. And so like, it's irrelevant whether you're a lesbian or not. I don't care about that. So why is it that that is the information that is publicized? I'm not knocking. Let me put this seriously. If you're a lesbian, but you're a great fire chief, seriously great, I will have all the respect in the world for you. I don't care that you're lesbian, but don't put lesbian in front of being a fire chief when the job is fire chief. That's the identity that matters in that role. Being a fire chief matters that you're competent at being a fire chief, and it has nothing to do with being a lesbian. But they want to throw these people up as examples. We can do this too. I don't care if you're a lesbian. I care that you're competent. And if you are a competent fire chief, God bless you. That's awesome. That's fantastic. That's what we need from you. Same with the mayor of LA, who's complaining that she was complaining in the last couple of days that people are complaining because she's a black woman. No. Excuse me. No, people are not complaining that you're a black woman. They're complaining because you're incompetent. When you say that they're complaining that you're a black woman, it's because somehow that took the lead in terms of importance. It's not important that you are black as a leader, except that, now I don't want anyone to take that out of context. It's important that you're competent doing what you're doing. And so you were put there as an incompetent because, again, broken record, intentional, purposeful, deliberate, weaponized, bureaucratic administration! That's what I'm saying. I think there's something accurate in what I'm saying. If you were a competent leader, no one's even going to be thinking about how you're black. They just are happy to have a competent leader. And you're put in there and it's celebrated that you're black, but it was kind of overlooked that you didn't have the competence to deal with this huge thing that could happen. Are we going to learn anything from this history? Are we going to make Los Angeles great again? Because to save your skin as a human being, you need to go on a repentance tour. And you need to be like, I'm so sorry I ran off during high winds to have a vacation in Africa while this horrible thing happened. And like resign and go on a repentance tour. And let someone competent take over. And I'm not saying that because you're a black woman. If you were doing a great job, I would give you credit. Even as a Democrat, if you were doing a great job, I would celebrate the great job you're doing. But you just stand there like a deer in the headlights when that guy's talking to you. How could you just stand there and go, let's play it again. Let's play it again. Because it's like, you're just like, Do
you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning?
Huh?
Do you regret cutting the fire department
Nothing.
budget by millions
You're
of dollars,
just
Madam
staring.
Mayor?
You're doing nothing. You're staring at
Have you
nothing.
to say today?
Explain that
Have
to
you
me.
absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today?
Nothing.
The
Literally,
chief also checks
absolutely
another
nothing.
box when
She
it comes-
just stares like, huh? Like, huh? Someone's talking to you about something important, and a good leader is going to be like, knowing the right things to say and do. I'm surprised she wasn't like, you want to get a selfie with me? It's going to be okay. Maybe if you whipped out your like cell phone, it would trigger the thing in her mind to smile, and she'd be like, it's going to be okay. Why? How's it going to be okay? What are you going to do? I'm just blown away by that is all. And I wanted to show that. I wanted to show her like a deer in the headlights acting like nothing. Where am I time-wise? 1:36. Oh, I've said so much about it already. I'm going to show you this AI clip. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to come to this. Okay, I know where to go. And it is like something I made on AI to be insulting to AI. Here we go. Pause. It's a 1 minute 46 minute. It's a 1 minute 46 second clip. And I want to 1, 2, 3. Boom. Come over here to this. Blow it up for you. And then I go 1, 2, 3. And I play this song for you. And we just listen to what the song has. This is AI generated, okay? There she is, Karen Bass. Just playing the violin. Gavin Newsom. And it's amazing how good this stuff is going to get. Rosie running from the fires. Tom Hanks running from the fires. Gavin Newsom in a bikini. Their leadership style is pure shit. When the people have a need, these two sell quite a breed. Hollywood burning! It's like a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. Rainbow fire truck. Very appropriate, this video. There's a bass again. Just a useless fish. Why is he playing guitar? What does that have to do with anything?
And the mayor of LA, make it gruesome, twosome, burning California all day. Karen Bass is such an ass. She goes to Africa for a blast while
it's Babs.
Burns down to the grass. What's wrong with these two?
Cher running from fire. Cher looks a little too good. Rainbow fire truck.
When the people have a need, these two so quite a breed.
All right, that's good. Very good video that individual made there. I like that. Oh, it's that time, people. I'm going to start wrapping things up. I was going to do a Paul Joseph Watson video, but I've been going an hour, 39 minutes, and I'm kind of beat.
When the people have a need, these two so quite a breed.
I wish the best for the people in California who have suffered through this nightmarish experience this week. I spent time there twice in 2019. I've wanted to go back for certain events, and this is nightmarish to me. It's truly... Lord, I actually pray that you help everyone out who needs help in this kind of tragic situation. This unprecedented modern American tragedy, Lord. I wish that people would be doing the right thing. That I said in a prayer to other people today. I pray that they will fulfill their potential as you see fit, Lord. You determine what they need to do. Make people your instruments in this whole endeavor to make California great again. Sincerely. I'm not, I don't want to like talk about the political overtones of what I'm saying. When I say make California great again, I'm talking about literally, because it's totally screwed right now. I'm not saying it as MAGA or something. I realize that's the meaning the expression has taken on, but California is in a dismal state and I want to see it repaired. And so I'm going to start wrapping this up right this very minute, people. I feel like I had a good one today. Not a lot of levity. I'm not in a mood for levity when it comes to this subject matter and this topic, because it's really tragic as hell, and I wish the best for people. I honestly do. If you made it through this, I ask you to follow. I'm really grateful to those who are paying attention to what I'm doing. There are a few of you. I'm working hard to make good content here. Long form content is what I want to do. And I want to say hang out for a while. CopyWho is Landia Colossus. I'm Paul, the producer. The truth is my business, and I deal in rational extremes. Excuse me. That is one of the things I do. I burp when I talk here. I'm not sorry about that. I like to burp. As the Jewish people say, according to Dennis Prager, bless the orifices. Alrighty? God bless the United States of America. No. What am I doing? Here we go. God bless the United States of America. God bless the people of California who are in a tough position because of this. God bless California. I really pray things will be all right. And not just prayers. I'm trying to think of how I can contribute in my own way, be an instrument in my own way to help people out. Just reassuring you, have faith. Have faith, seriously. Put your faith in God above all else. Peace be with you all, truly. I'm glad to do this today. I had fun, everyone. I might see you on Wednesday. We will see. Peace.